Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lattes Out of My Mind. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Felina.
What are we talking about today, Felina?
Today we have our Ristretto Ramble 3.
Ooh, I love those.
So grab your lattes and join us for the journey. How the heck have you been?
How the heck have you been, really?
Oh, you know.
I know.
I had an unfortunate turn of events.
Yeah.
I don't know how this happened, but somehow I got pink eye. And the doctor was like, you need 48 hours on the medicine.
Yeah.
And then I woke up. So I had my 48 hours. And then I woke up Friday morning and I was like, yo,
no.
I'm really sensitive to light still. I don't know how that's going to work looking at a computer screen all day.
She left me in the office alone.
I did. I'm so sorry.
I was like, don't come to work. Just don't. I was also like...
Hannah really didn't want me to come to work, though, because she didn't want to risk getting pink eye, even though it wasn't contagious anymore.
I didn't want to get pink eye, but I also was like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But now I'm with you now, so I could still... I won't touch my eyes. That's fine. How does it pass? Like
the entire house has been disinfected.
Oh, several times?
Yeah, like the first 2 days I was out, all I was doing was cleaning and washing and disinfecting. And I went to get my I went to like urgent care. Fun fact, Little Clinic doesn't treat pink eye anymore. So don't go there.
They send you away?
Don't go there. I called them. So
what do you treat?
Seriously, what are you good for anymore? So we did that, and then I did that. I called, and then I went to urgent care instead. And then I went to get my medicine, and I got Clorox disinfecting wipes and Clorox disinfecting spray. And I didn't feel like washing our pillows, so I doused those bad boys in the spray, and so far so good. Well,
if Marshall hasn't gotten it,
no,
I feel like we're fine.
And I washed like the decorative pillows. I just didn't feel like washing our pillow because washing pillows is a hassle. Yeah, it's always a hassle.
Like the actual pillows.
Yeah.
Like pillows. I don't know how to wash like the actual. I'm always just like, what do you do?
You're able to put them in. See, we don't have covers. I mean, we have like pillowcases. You're right. So like you're able to put them in the washing machine, but I feel like you're able to, but I feel like you have to like drain them before you can put them in the dryer, and that's just way too much effort.
That's a lot of
so I washed our walls and our railings, every doorknob, every handle, every like cabinet.
It's summer cleaning.
Door, whatever. I washed our baseboards because when I started like wiping down the walls, I started wiping down the walls because I saw something on a wall, and then you know how when you start something you just do all of them, and then I noticed that our baseboards were awful, so I washed all of those.
I do that, and I'm like, nah.
Vacuumed and all the crap, and so
I keep looking at my walls and being like, oof, I need to clean these.
This is so disgusting, and nobody come for me. Okay, listen. I was in our bedroom, and this is why I started wiping down the walls. I saw something on the wall in our bedroom, probably some sort of sauce or something that got spilled, whatever.
As long as it's not poopy.
No. And so I started wiping it down, and I noticed the sheer amount of like dust clung to our walls. And I was like,
well, it's an old house too. It's an old house.
It's an old house.
Produces...
Not only that, our fan was filthy for the longest time, and we always have our fan on. Also, we recently have not been spending time in our room except for when it's darker out. So like the lights are out and the lamps are on, you don't see it.
No.
And I only saw it because I was here in the middle of the day. The blinds were open. The lights were on.
Because it stays light until like 9 right now, almost to 9.
Almost. Yeah.
So you're just like chilling, doing other things, and then you don't look at your bedroom.
Yeah, it was disgusting. I was like, oh my gosh.
Mine's like from the dogs, like when they get rainwater on them or something, and then they shake, and then I don't realize it, and then I look at the wall and it's like splotchy with mud and stuff. I'm like, ew. Yeah. I really need to like clean them, but alas,
it happens.
I'm just super tired, as you know.
I wouldn't have been able to have time to clean them if it weren't for the fact that I was out, because I felt fine other than my eye.
Yeah. People kept saying it's so painful. Were you in pain, or was it just...
It hurt.
It hurt?
Yeah. Okay. And that was like one of my things. Like I felt like I had something in my eye the night before, because I woke up and it was like swollen and red. And like goopy.
Yeah.
But the night before, it was just like, I felt like I had something in my eye that I couldn't get out. And every time I touched my eye, it was like sharp shooting pain.
Oh, weird.
And I was like, ow, what is happening? And then I woke up and I was like, this is all making sense.
I was like, do you have pink eye? That's exactly what I thought when you started describing it. I was like...
Well, and I thought I had pink eye already.
Oh, okay. I was like...
Because like, that's the only thing I could think of. But...
Right. Yeah. So she's been recovering. So that's great.
You know who else is supposedly recovering?
Oh, tell me.
One Elvis Presley.
The king of rock and roll?
The king himself.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
He's supposed to be recovering. Yeah. When was Elvis born?
He was born on January 8th, 1935.
1935. Oh, wow. So he was born during the Great Depression. Mm-hmm. I never put that in context.
I'm fairly nearly certain he was born the same year as my grandma.
Aww. Oh.
Maybe 2 years. He may have been 2 years after.
So he could still be alive.
Before. He could still be alive.
He could be recovering.
Yeah. I'm fairly nearly certain. And I know that he supposedly died on her birthday.
What?
Yeah.
This is starting to become a conspiracy in itself. Is he related to your grandmother?
No.
Well, you can dream.
Yeah. So so like we said, this is a Ristretto Ramble. Typically we try to do 3 topics. I'm doing 2 topics.
It's plenty.
It's fine. You're still getting more bang for your buck, you know, because it's 2 topics instead of 1. So Elvis was born on January 8th, 1935, and he supposedly died on August 16th, 1977.
Oh.
He grew up as an only child.
Right.
He was born in, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, so please don't come for me if you live here. Tupelo, Mississippi.
Tupelo,
Tupelo. Tupelo.
Is it Tupelo?
Maybe. I don't know. He was born in Mississippi.
Okay.
To Vernon and Gladys Presley. Now, Vernon,
Such good names.
Yeah, I know. Vernon, he was a painter and a farmer. And then he, like later on in Elvis's career, he was like a chauffeur. He ended up becoming an actor. He acted in Hee Haw. I don't know if you know what that is.
No, I have no idea what.
It was a very popular show back in the day.
I always forgot that he was an actor.
Well, this is his dad. His dad acted in Hee Haw. And then he also like showed up in like certain like Elvis documentaries and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then Gladys worked at a garment factory, and then she was also in the Elvis documentaries.
Okay.
The family relocated to Memphis, Tennessee when Elvis was about 13 years old.
Okay. Mississippi to Tennessee.
Yeah. And he began his music career when he was 19. And he very quickly became known as the king of rock and roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was all over the place. Obviously, everybody knows him. Obviously, everybody still knows who he is. They've heard his music, whatever.
The classic hip sway.
Yes. Yeah, his successes. We're going to get into that. He is estimated to have sold 500 million records worldwide. He had 18 number 1 singles and 149 songs appeared on the top 100 chart.
Dang.
55 albums appeared on the top
55?
55 albums. He earned gold.
Is this a record holding thing? Like, is he... What is he compared to like someone today?
Like, is he still one of the? Yeah, probably. He earned gold, platinum, and multi-platinum awards for over 131 singles and albums in the U.S.
Good grief!
He starred in 31 featured films, 2 of which were concert documentaries.
Okay,
so 29 feature films, 2 documentaries.
Okay,
and he won 3 Grammys.
Dang.
Which I mean, so it's impressive. Now. Here's the issue.
The issue.
The issue is Elvis, throughout his music career, became very reliant on drugs.
Yeah.
Specifically opiates. So he struggled with that quite a bit. He had very sudden like weight gain, like it was concerning. And then he's also suffered from chronic constipation.
Oh no, that's painful. What the heck?
Do you know how Elvis died?
I know where he was when he died.
Okay.
Supposedly.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, it's sad when that happens, and I feel like though when you become that, I mean, because you said how fast did he became quite popular really fast.
It was quick.
So I feel like that's always like that's so much pressure and so much if you
and he was
used to that.
So young too.
He was young, yeah. So that I feel like is common where you turn to something just because. I mean, imagine like I have anxiety. Imagine if like you had to feel the pressure to like perform a certain way like all the time. It's so easy for people in the public eye to fall to that, and
especially if it like works for you, which it worked. He was going out giving performances,
and I feel like at that time, especially because if he died in the 70s, like during that time, like they didn't have help for that. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't like that kind of like mental health.
Drugs were everywhere in the 70s.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's like sorry
to interrupt.
No, you're fine. You're totally fine. His mental health took quite a toll due to this. Obviously he's in pain. So he's taking prescription drugs.
I don't know if any of you have been constipated.
It's like all of them were like prescription drugs. Like someone prescribed them to him and he just got addicted to them.
Yeah. That happens.
And so, not only is he constipated, not only does he have the pressure of like being all big and famous and having to perform up to these standards. And
some people like in the Christian community were critical of him, right? Because he was scandalous or whatever, right?
He was
like
very provocative.
Right, very provocative.
He had some moves that were suggestive for sure.
And now when we look at it, we're like, that was what was the issue? Yeah. Compared to some things today, I'm like, okay, come on, guys.
Like, are you listening to music now?
Right.
Are you kidding? So, according to all of the like newspapers and coroner reports and everything, he did die of cardiac arrest.
Cardiac arrest?
Yes. Which I don't know if you know, like if you're on a bunch of drugs, that can cause cardiac arrest. He was found in his bathroom in Graceland by his girlfriend at the time.
Right.
He was severely constipated. There was stool found in his colon during his autopsy from 4 to 5 months. Prior to his death. So it's like he hadn't pooped for months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The poor man. Do you know how painful I was? Like, this is gross, but like I was constipated once and it was like a week and I was like in immense pain. Yeah. I can't imagine.
4 to 5 months. Well, and that's obviously like probably is what I was trying to say there. Honestly, probably part of the reason that he was taking so many drugs is because he was in pain too,
and then that causes the whatever the constipation or heart, and then
which also the drugs probably they were causing constipation. So
found him in his bathroom.
They found him in his bathroom.
Okay,
it's believed that he was constipated on the John, if you would.
On the John,
the king was on his throne.
Yes, that's what they say.
And then he had a heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew I had heard. I thought that he died on the toilet, but I didn't know about the constipation thing. But I guess I should have assumed that. I don't know. I thought he just he just whatever had a heart attack.
And apparently he had suffered from it for a while, which could also contribute to weight gain.
Yeah, like if you're not pooping,
if you're not getting
bloated.
rid of it, you're going to be bloated all the time, and you're going to feel like crap. So then again, you're going to want to take something to make you be able to perform.
Right.
So we're going to get into some of the conspiracies.
Oh,
well,
dear.
Specifically one of the conspiracies.
But his girlfriend found him.
His girlfriend found him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to get the facts straight before we.
Yes. So everyone obviously devastated by his passing.
Right.
They were like, "What the heck? This is so random. Why?"
And he was considerably young.
He was younger. Yeah.
I mean, 40s, right? 35 to you said 77.
I think he was in his late 30s.
Oh, what? Really? Oh, okay.
Right?
Did I do my math wrong? What age was Elvis when he died?
No, you're right. He was in his 40s. He was in his 40s.
But it's still young.
It's still young. It is. So immediately after passing, there were rumors that he had faked his own death. And there was all kinds, and it was like, so 42. He was 42.
Still young.
But there was all kinds of like, so many. You look up Elvis Presley conspiracies,
right?
All of them come up, right? The main one at the time of his passing was that he faked his own death because he was afraid that the mafia was coming after him.
Oh, the mafia.
Yeah.
Why would the mafia be coming after Elvis? I don't
know.
What did he do?
I don't know.
Why would the mafia? Because
he's
like,
the
what
king.
did he do? Well, yeah, but he's not the king of the streets. He's just the king of rock and roll. Like,
well, maybe he was the king of the streets.
Maybe he was the king of the streets. I don't know. Like,
maybe he got involved in something.
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, you know, conspiracies.
Yeah.
They just kind of take off. So
yes, I like it.
That was the main one, for the longest time. And then there's this other guy. I think his name is Bob or something. He's claiming to be Elvis or whatever.
Bob is claiming to be Elvis?
Yeah. And then eventually there was a psychiatric patient, and his name was Jesse Garon Presley.
Okay.
He started claiming that he was, in fact, Elvis Presley. He was
the
Elvis. King of rock and roll.
Okay. Sing for us then. Go ahead.
Right. Well, but he's older at this point.
Right. Yeah,
so
but still.
he's been in this psychiatric facility for a while. And then
why would you keep your name Elvis? Or not Elvis, Presley. Why would you keep your name Elvis?
We'll get into it.
Okay.
Actually, right now we can go ahead.
Okay.
So Elvis, he was raised an only child.
Yes, this is true.
He actually did have a twin brother.
What?
Named Jesse Garon Presley.
What?
He was born 35 minutes before Elvis. However, he was a stillborn. According to the family, he was buried in a shoebox tied with a red ribbon at the local cemetery in
a shoebox,
not Memphis, in Mississippi.
The
one place.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was stillborn. He was a baby. He was a twin. They're typically smaller,
very small.
Everyone kind of rolled their eyes at this psychiatric patient Jesse. I think it's weird that even the middle name is the same.
He was a patient?
He was a patient. He had lived there for years and years and years. And then he was like, I'm actually Elvis. Yo.
Wait, what's his middle name?
Jesse Garon Presley.
And that's Elvis's middle name as well?
No, that's Elvis's twin brother was named Jesse Garon Presley.
Oh, okay. And this guy was actually, okay.
And then this guy's named Jesse Garon Presley.
Okay.
So everyone's like, kind of like, whatever, man,
right.
You're crazy. You're here for a reason. You know, like,
yeah.
You know, he'd lived there for a while. So one of his therapists eventually was fed up with it, tired of hearing it.
Right.
So he suggested, hey, you get a DNA test done.
Oh, okay.
And that he did.
Did he really?
He was like, you go get a DNA test and then you come back and talk to me about how you're Elvis Presley. Okay?
Right.
He did. He got this DNA test done. And Hannah?
What?
The DNA results showed that he was, in fact, his DNA matches Elvis Presley's DNA.
Like to what percentage?
Obviously it can't be 100%,
right.
But it was like the highest percentage he is Elvis. His DNA is matching with Elvis Presley's DNA.
And how... Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
For twins, how much are their DNA matches?
I was just about to say that.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I was about to say they were identical twins.
Okay.
Which means that could cause that. So this man could be Jesse Garon Presley. It could be Elvis's twin brother.
Why would they be separated though? Like say that he sorry.
You're
I'm
good,
jumping
you're
ahead. I just questions.
So that is a very important question.
Okay.
But then they even took it, they were like, well, maybe it's like a false result, whatever.
Right.
Or like, oh, well, okay,
how did you do that?
Falsified something. So then they took it a step further and they tested it against Elvis's parents' DNA for a parental match.
Yeah.
And they got one.
You're joking.
I'm not joking.
And this guy is how old? Like he can't be.
He's like in his 90s now.
He can't be like their grandkid. I mean, like he's like old enough to be like.
No, it came back for a parental.
Oh, it came back. Okay, so because they can do that. Okay.
And even if it was a grandkid, it would not come back as a perfect match for Elvis.
Okay.
It would come back as like Elvis was a parental match for him.
Okay. Because
Elvis did have children.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that.
Hold on, what the heck?
So yeah,
what the heck?
Yeah. So and then it's just kind of like, okay, so what?
Yeah, what did they do?
Like, what are we doing about this? Now?
Right.
Like, this man, his DNA matched as Elvis Presley. So
how did they have like Elvis's DNA? Was it like, do you do that when they pass away? Like, I'm just curious, like, because I know he lived like a little further back. So like, do they just like, how do they directly match? I mean, I guess you can just, I don't know how this stuff works, but like,
I'm not exactly sure what they sampled from. I just know that they had his
DNA. But do they sample like when you die? Like, do they take your DNA?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do they like swap like?
But there's so many like artifacts of like Elvis's that like he did in fact wear and sweat. That's on. True. And
I just feel like those kind of items like other people's DNA can be on, but I guess they wouldn't match.
They wouldn't match.
So yeah. Sorry guys, I'm sorry if I'm making you cringe. I just don't know a lot about DNA. I'm bad at the science stuff. Okay.
So it matched, right? So now, so Jesse Garon Presley, psychiatric patient. He is claiming to be Elvis Presley. Okay. However, it's been proposed that he could actually be the one and only Jesse Garon Presley.
Right.
Who, quote, died
at birth.
And the theory is that, here's the thing about this.
Yes.
The Presley family, they were living in poverty when Elvis and his brother were born. They weren't rich
by any means.
They didn't have a lot of extra funds at all. So it is possible that they had to give one of the twins up for adoption because they couldn't afford to take care of both of the twins. And that they faked the death of one of the twins to avoid scrutiny from friends, loved ones.
Like giving one up.
Yeah.
But has anyone come forward that said they adopted this kid? Like,
well, they wouldn't know.
Oh, it was like a closed adoption or something.
Wouldn't. Yeah, like they.
Oh.
They could have just not known. And also, this man is in his 90s, so his parents not around.
They're not around. Yeah,
that's not true. Around. So that is a possibility. Is that he's not Elvis, and the reason that he came back conclusive is because he is his identical twin.
Okay.
However, it's also possible and been proposed that Elvis had a mental break.
Okay.
Due to heart attack, health issues, just the pressure of having to perform and be the king of rock and roll, like it's very common for big celebrities to need to step back for a while, and he wasn't stepping back. So it is possible that his family had him committed under Jesse's name, because no one would come looking for a Jesse Presley. They would come looking for Elvis Presley.
Right.
Because not a lot of people knew about Jesse being around.
And those who did thought he was dead.
Yeah.
I assume.
Yes. So they wouldn't think, oh, let me look for his
Jesse,
stillborn twin brother,
right.
And that maybe he just didn't want the pressure of it anymore. And so they just had him committed. Your name's Jesse now. Live out the rest of your life in peace.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the Elvis Presley theory.
Right.
Is that he's still alive. He's going under his brother's name.
Yeah. And I wonder though, like, if it was like, okay, say it was like actually Jesse and not Elvis.
Yeah.
Why would he claim that he was Elvis? Just because like he had snapped and he was just like, my brother was Elvis, so I might as well just say I'm Elvis.
He's been put in a mental institution. Yeah. He's been left behind, forgotten. He's like, hey, I know my brother's Elvis. So
so I'm going to say I'm Elvis because I look just like him. And do we have pictures of this man? I know he's old in his 70s, so we would have.
Yeah, we wouldn't.
What would Elvis look like?
Right. And
70?
Whenever I was looking at pictures, I was like, you can't compare.
Yeah, that's true. Because
we don't have
Elvis.
More recent pictures of this man in his elderly age, and then you have Elvis in his 40s.
Right.
Like you can't
really
at the
compare.
latest. You can't. It's not comparable. There is one where it was like his mouth was like very similar. And so like,
trying to look him up.
Even if it's just him. There's a lot more pictures about like this Bob dude. And I'm like, this Bob
Who's
dude?
Bob?
Nah.
Did we talk about him yet?
It's not. We talked about Bob being how he's claiming he's Elvis Presley,
right?
And whatnot.
Okay.
So whatever. He's got a TikTok now, I think. So you can go look him up. But yeah, so that's Elvis. Let me know if you think that Elvis is alive and that he's going under the name of his dead brother. Let me know if you think he did in fact die and his brother is claiming to be him.
Is Jesse like the old Jesse? Is he still alive?
I'm not sure if he's still alive.
Okay. That's what I was wondering.
Because this was a couple years ago when all this like started happening.
Yeah.
But I'm not. He would be about 91, I think, now.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I mean, because 35. Like when you just look him up, obviously it says, "Oh, he died." Like if you just look up Jesse Garen Presley, like born January 8th, 1935, died January 8th, 1935.
Yeah, it'll say because it's going based off of that. I had to. I can't remember
Bob
exactly.
Smith, is this the guy?
Is that him?
No, that's Gladys Presley's father. Never mind.
I had to look up something weird to see a picture of him.
Yeah, because I don't. There's some that like they made Elvis look old. You know what I mean? Like it's not an actual picture of Elvis, or it's an actual picture of Elvis just made old. Yeah. Anyway, maybe we'll look it up after.
Let me know your theories. Let me know if you have any other information. This is just. I was like, this is all the information I really had on it, and I was like, whatever.
Have we ever had? I mean, like, so we hear about this all the time, like people faking their deaths, to like get away from the public eye.
Yeah.
Have we ever proved that that's actually happened with someone, or is it always just a theory? Like, have we had that?
I don't think indefinitely. I know there's a theory about Michael Jackson. There was like a guy who followed the ambulance that took Michael Jackson, and then there's like a video of Michael Jackson walking out of the ambulance.
What the heck? There's also like John Lennon. It's proposed that he got replaced or something.
Yes.
Like, or whatever it was. And I don't, like, he actually died and then was replaced. So that's like opposite. Like he's not.
Yeah.
He was replaced by someone else.
Yeah.
Or something like that. We haven't done that yet.
There's also a theory that Princess Diana,
we did, was still alive.
In fact, faking her death.
Yeah,
or like she let them think that they killed her.
I mean, if anyone needed to, like,
it's like
hers would
the accident was real. I think it was like the theory. I think it was like the accident was real, but she survived and then she went into hiding.
She used it
and let
to
people think that she was dead, which I completely get.
Because Princess Diana was very like at the time like. They would not leave her alone.
No, they would not.
They wouldn't. So.
They were all over her. They were in there like swimwear.
Right. In there like swimwear. I thought you said underwear and I was like, what?
What? No.
That's funny.
You know what else was in there like swimwear?
Oh. Teflon. Yeah, that is in there like swimwear.
That's in there like swimwear.
Teflon.
It's all over the place. It's in more things than you think. It's in carpets, actually.
Is it like glitter? Is it like in everything that shouldn't be in?
It's like, no, like I think I don't think it is anymore, but it was in carpet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe.
Is this a conspiracy?
No, this is
just fact. Okay.
This is not conspiracy. This is fact.
All right, guys, let's talk about it.
Okay, so what do you know about Teflon? What do you think? Like when you hear
lines
Teflon,
pans,
it lines
to like
pans.
make it slick. Like right, like Teflon non-stick pans.
Non-stick pans.
That's all I think of when I hear Teflon.
Okay,
she said okay.
In the 1930s,
oh wow,
there was a big problem with refrigeration and freezer and like keeping everything cool, but also not like to the point where like the fridges were blowing up.
Oh, speaking of blowing up and fridges like that, our fridge.
Oh my goodness!
At work, no, it's not blowing up. Our fridge at work right now. We have a little mini fridge at work. It literally has like my water bottle that's sitting in the door. It's like frozen solid. So it's like literally become a freezer.
Turn it down.
Yeah, sorry. It's like just to remind you.
Yeah, we need to turn that one down.
A fridge explode. No, has not happened.
That's like literally there was
why?
like one and it was
so
like
cold?
Fridge explodes and kills 15 people.
Oh my, 15 people.
And it's like because of the chemicals that they were putting in the fridge to try and get it to like stay cool and keep your meat and your dairy and everything.
Because they probably had lots of foodborne illness.
Yeah. Yeah. So like in the 30s, this was a big issue. Yeah. So Frigidaire had come up with a way to, and it was Frigidaire, and then they owned like the General Motors, which also made fridges, which is they make everything.
If you look at like parent companies and like what they own, it's so weird.
Yeah. So what happened was General Motors contacted the guy at Frigidaire and was like, we need to come up with a better plan.
These like, chemicals
we can't like, because it wasn't just them. It was like every refrigerator could blow up
Could
at
blow
any minute. And it's dangerous.
So I guess at this time they didn't like test it was because of the chemicals, right? So they weren't testing like, okay, chemical against chemical. Is this a danger? They were
it's not that they weren't testing it. It was that they were like, well, this is we need to find a way to keep these fridges like cold. We need to like preserve the coolness, suck the heat out, keep everything like it wasn't even like we're not testing. We know this will cause this reaction, but like if we put it in this, maybe it won't. Or maybe if we do this, maybe it won't.
What?
Yeah.
That's not good.
1930s of it all.
The 30s.
Again, everything's in the 30s today.
I know. That's so interesting.
So they were coming up with a way to have refrigeration without the risk of it blowing up and using such harsh chemicals. Yeah.
We all want that.
We don't want a fridge to blow up on us. So they eventually used Freon, and every like fridge company, refrigeration company wanted a piece of that, but they own like the patent to it somehow. And they weren't gonna sell it, and so then they kind of like other scientists, the competitor companies, they discovered that they could use this gas molecule with 2 carbon atoms, because they can't use freon, however you say it. So they were like, we'll use this gas molecule with 2 carbon atoms that are surrounded by 4 fluorine.
Fluorine?
Yeah. Sure. Which is later known as Teflon.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, wait, hold on. So
they can use the harsh chemicals,
okay,
and then like coat it in Teflon, so they don't combine, but they still do their job.
Oh no!
This was then tabled.
Yeah,
we don't know why it was tabled.
They said not a good idea,
but it was tabled. So then Teflon officially made its household debut in the 50s, in the 1950s, and it made its debut as the perfect, durable, non-stick cookware.
Right.
Because it wouldn't, it's hard to damage. You can't scrape it. You can't scratch it. It's non-stick, so it's wonderful, and it makes it so easy to, cook meals for your family. Before long, everyone had it in their kitchen. I mean, everyone. And multiple companies started offering it. So multiple companies were competing against each other to sell it. The main company was DuPont.
Wait, so they didn't have like a patent on Teflon lined pans?
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow. Okay. That was their bad.
Well, the main one was DuPont. And there's a reason why there wasn't a patent on Teflon. So they didn't stop at just like the cooking pans. They started making like muffin tins, and they made silverware, and then they lined it with Teflon.
Silverware?
So you're eating off
That's
of the
not
silverware.
Good. Oh gosh.
And it's really good for like the stay-at-home mom. It's really like they really marketed it towards the stay-at-home mom who was looking after her kids, and her kids are destroying everything, and you can't destroy this. It's Teflon. Right. It's wonderful. So much so that they even they started giving out free muffin tins, as samples, so that they could test its amazing durability and then go buy more. Right. Of it, Right. We, as America, we couldn't get enough of it. We were like, say less. This makes my life so much easier.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, gradually, I guess, really more like it. Sudden illnesses started happening. That spikes in illnesses that weren't really around before. People started getting. Well, people started getting what we now call today, and people still get this today, is the Teflon flu.
Oh, we get it.
So if you cook with Teflon pans, Teflon, what happens is once it reaches a degree of 570 degrees Fahrenheit, it releases fumes that can cause, when you inhale those fumes, they can cause chills, fever, headache, and body aches. So it's like you have the flu, but you don't have the flu. You're just being poisoned by your Teflon pans.
Wait, so Teflon pans are still a thing?
Oh yeah, they're still everywhere.
Because I think I have one, and
you need to get rid of it. Immediately.
I keep telling Wes that it's chipped and we shouldn't be using it.
Oh,
okay, thank you. I'm gonna throw it away when I get home.
Get rid of it.
Because he's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, no, it's really not.
Get rid of it.
I don't know if it actually is. Is all Teflon pans nonstick, or are all nonstick?
Not all nonstick are Teflon, I don't think.
Okay,
but all Teflon is nonstick.
I keep telling you. I know. I'm like, I don't really like.
Regardless.
Get rid of it.
Just regardless. If you don't want to be poisoned when you're cooking your food, what you need to do is you need to get rid of all of your crappy little pans. I'm sorry to say crappy little pans, but like
it's true.
We had crappy little pans growing up. So like it is what it is.
Oh, I'm sure we were all consuming so much Teflon when we were younger.
Oh, yeah. Like so much. So get rid of all of that. Anything with a rainbow design on it, get rid of that immediately.
What do you mean?
Like, you know how like we have knives.
I have you mean like the, I have two like the spoons like that.
Like rainbowish.
Okay, like the tint.
Yes, tint on it, immediately get rid of. And then what you need to do is you need to go and you need to buy yourself some cast iron skillets.
This is a PSA. Oh, I know, but the cleaning of it stresses me out.
You can clean cast iron.
But can't you just use regular metal pans? Or do they also have Teflon? Are you about to tell me that they also have Teflon in them?
I don't think regular metal pans have Teflon in them. I think that they're just like regular metal pans aren't necessarily nonstick.
No, they're not. They're hard to use.
And it's hard to use those.
I just go with some pans.
You got to get yourself a cast iron skillet.
Oh my
Hannah,
gosh.
I promise you can clean a cast iron skillet as long as you re-season it afterwards.
I know. Well, but you're not supposed to clean it with soap. And that stresses me out.
But you can clean it with soap
and then re-season
as long as you re-season it.
Isn't it just like with oil and you put it in the oven or something like that? Or is it salt?
Yeah, you can.
No, salt cleans it.
Salt cleans it.
Yeah.
And then you can get like the wire scrubby brush to clean it off.
Okay, well, Wesley, I'm coming home and throwing away that pan that has chips in it.
I can get rid of that pan immediately, girl. That's also even if it's not a Teflon or
yes, I know.
If it's chipped, stop using it.
I know. I was like, we really need to stop using this and get rid of it.
You're eating heavy metals at that point. Like, stop using it.
Should we do a live call and call Wesley on the podcast?
Wesley, get rid of the pan. You can go buy a new one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's what you need to do. You need to just get rid of all those.
This is a PSA
pans.
for all of you. It has become now a public service announcement.
Please, we use now. Okay, we do have not all nonstick is Teflon.
Right.
We do have like nonstick muffin tins that are not Teflon. But
why is it still allowed? That's what I'm confused about. If it was causing all this sickness and we know that now, why is it still allowed?
They're really good at covering things up.
Oh, okay. Explain.
And I think that they promised to take one of like the things out of it.
The more dangerous thing.
Yeah. But yeah.
I just feel like there's so much more we can use now that we don't need it.
No, we don't. We don't need it. But it's still around. Inhaling the fumes not only can cause Teflon flu, but it can also cause it was like leading to lung damage, and in some cases, like some severe cases, cancer. So like all of a sudden people were having really bad lung damage, and like out of nowhere, and they were like, what? Cancer had a spike after Teflon was like introduced, and like, but nobody was like contributing it to that. Everybody was contributing it to other factors. They were like, well, you know,
yeah, it could be this.
We this is the 50s, so we're coming out of World War II.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it's
we're
like
so bad at that.
It's like we just went to war, you know, like you've all come back from war. Yeah. There's no telling what you were exposed to, or
you were exposed to nuclear reactions. Who cares if you have Teflon? It's probably cancer.
So it's like you know, there's other factors that made it more believable that it was something else, not the Teflon pans, and nobody was looking at the Teflon pans because why would they? Why would
more concerned about atomic bombs?
Why would someone try and sell something to you that can cause
cancer,
lung damage, and cancer, and all kinds of other defects and deformities and stuff like that?
Everything causes cancer.
So people were also began seeing a spike in their cholesterol in their liver enzymes. They were like changing. It was weird. They had decreased success in vaccines in children. So children's were I like
that. Children were
not. They were less. They had like built up more, like immunity. They were more tolerant to, or less tolerant to vaccines. So it's like the vaccines didn't work as well.
They didn't work because they had like built up a tolerance.
So it's like if you vaccinated your kid for smallpox.
Okay, great.
it wouldn't quite take completely.
Oh my
gosh. Everything they were eating out of and off of was Teflon.
Oh, at least we're not doing that.
Yes.
We're just having plastic. That's all.
Right. There were also signs of, bear with me, I'm going to mispronounce this.
Oh, it's okay.
Perfluorinated compounds.
Perfluorinated compounds.
Otherwise known as PFCs.
Okay, we can do that.
PFCs cause kidney and testicular cancer.
Awesome.
They cause harm to reproductive organs.
Awesome.
And also birth defects and thyroid disease.
Awesome.
So great. Awesome. Wonderful.
Right. I love that we're doing that.
And we're cooking with this.
Right. All the time.
And like, no matter what you get, we're cooking with this. Yeah. And then I think at this point, it was in refrigerators as well. At this point, after they released it
Teflon?
into the household, I think they released it into like,
with
the refrigerators.
Gosh.
I believe. Don't quote me on that.
That's not still in refrigerators.
No.
Okay. They said no. But they're still giving it to us in our pans.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like for years, it was like people were being poisoned by the pan they were cooking with. And they had no clue.
I mean, it's just like before we've talked about like the cosmetics and the materials.
Yeah. And like the green dyes. No, they had no idea. Nobody warned them of the risks of Teflon. They were told it was completely safe. It was like, whatever. So why would they question it? Because especially at this point, there was a lot more trust in the government and stuff like that. Right. So it's like, why would...
Also, I think certain states, have you noticed that like anytime you get anything that's like made, I don't know if it's made in California or like sold in California, it'll say may cause cancer. But like in a lot of other states, it doesn't say that. Like I've got this like cover for my car wheel, thinking it's like may cause cancer. And I read somewhere that like they have to market that way in California, in certain states, that have like regulations or something.
They have to be like more open and upfront.
Yeah, because probably
because what doesn't cause cancer,
right?
In this day and age, honestly,
I know that's what I'm saying. Like everything, our microwave supposedly, that one that went around for a while that it's causing you radiation, cancer, I don't know, stuff like that.
Which is funny because radiation gets rid of cancer. So
how does that?
I don't know. I don't know if that adds up.
I don't either.
No, I know that the microwave isn't that great for you.
It's not.
I know that the air fryer has heavy metals in it. Apparently.
Does it really?
So whatever. Microplastics, heavy metals.
We're all consuming so much microplastics in a day.
It's
a credit.
Ridiculous.
What was it? A credit card's worth in a week or something like that?
Are you kidding me?
What we talked about in glitter, it's like a lot. It's a lot.
That's excessive.
Yes, because everything's so made of plastic. You're just inhaling. You're like we're drinking out of these plastic cups right now. I'm sure that we're
with plastic straws.
Yeah, with plastic straws. So it's like you're gonna
Our microphone covers are plastic.
Yeah, styrofoam plastic.
They've got plastic in them for sure.
I mean, it might just be plastic. It might be right. I don't know.
Honestly. So
sorry guys, getting on a tangent.
You just if you really sit and think about like what everything like what has plastic in it, it's ridiculous.
It is.
So then there came a lawyer.
Hi, lawyer.
I can't remember the name of the lawyer. This is from my memory, so it may be missing some information.
Okay, that's fine.
Like I said, I had pink eye. I was sensitive to light. So
she said,
I didn't want to have to find the article again.
She was like squinting her eyes, looking at the screen. Like,
literally. I was like, let me just type this up and then stop looking at it. So then came along a lawyer. Don't remember his name, but he was asked to look into a Teflon plant, specifically a DuPont Teflon plant.
Oh, DuPont.
By a farmer. And this farmer, what happened was like he had a big plot of land and he like sold it to the plant or whatever to like make ends meet. He was a cattle farmer, and then there was like this stream that the cattle would drink from. All of a sudden his cattle started dying, and he wouldn't he was scared to let his dogs out too far or whatever. He was losing his livelihood at this point. Like all of his cattle was dying. I think there was like pigs down the road dying or whatever. So he was concerned about the health impact it was having on not only his like cattle,
his own
and like his livelihood, but also on like the health of his family. Right. Because we eat this meat.
Yeah. That's how we get our we can't really just be eating the ones
we're
that drop
cattle
dead.
Farmers. Yeah. Obviously they don't eat the ones that like they have to end up shooting. Right. Ultimately.
That's what I'm saying. They can't eat that.
But like they eat the other cattle that looks healthy but is probably not. Yeah.
The water.
So he's concerned for them. So this lawyer discovered that it was in fact the Teflon plant that was killing his livestock.
So they
and
were
his family.
disposing of things.
They were disposing of things.
Yeah.
And it was
Washing.
traveling. It was, so what they were doing was they were like burying it, but every time it rained, it would wash the like minerals into like the,
because it all it goes into the stream.
And there were so many people who used the stream, and so many people were having issues. The farmer and his wife did eventually pass away from cancer.
Oh no.
They were perfectly healthy before the Teflon plant. Then they started having health concerns.
Yeah.
And I think his kids were like getting sick all the time too.
Right.
And then the lawyer uncovered the truth of Teflon.
Oh no.
What was marketed as the perfect, reliable, non-stick cooking pan, safe for every household, perfect for every household.
It was marketed as safe for every household?
Yeah.
Oh.
Was in fact a part of the Manhattan Project.
What? That's just like glitter.
Yeah.
What?
So people who had worked at the factories had children born with birth defects, multiple miscarriages.
At the Teflon one?
But specifically, he was specifically targeting DuPont. Which is funny. It's funny. It's ironic that this lawyer was doing this because this lawyer worked in a big city, and he was like, he represented the like big companies.
Usually he did.
Yeah, like his offices represented the big companies, and they like
a big law
fought back against like the small people who, like the farmers who were trying to report them for something. Like that's who they represented.
Yeah.
But then I think it was like this guy was a friend of a family member or something, and he like kept reaching out to him, and so he finally went and he looked into it, and he was like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah, this is like,
then the law firm ended up representing the family.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
maybe they changed their ways and represented the small people.
Well, because I think it was like, we can't sit on this, we can't hide this information.
Yeah,
like whatever. So they had, like I said, people who work there. Children born with birth defects constantly, multiple miscarriages in women who work there, cancer, lung disease, again, like the thyroid stuff, so like everything, like literally everything.
What year was this?
This was in the I'm not sure actually when it was when the lawyer got involved.
Okay, because I was like,
but like all the people who had like worked, he talked to previous people who had worked there. He talked to people who currently work there. You know,
gotcha.
But the workers were never warned of the risks of working with Teflon.
Awesome.
And so they, along with the public, were led to believe it was perfectly safe.
Right.
So in 1938, we're going backwards now.
Okay.
Roy Plunkett, who worked for DuPont, and DuPont is a chemicals company.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. He discovered Teflon, and it has a resistance to corrosion due to its nonstick properties.
Yeah.
And this made it the ideal candidate for the Manhattan Project.
Oh, awesome.
So what was happening was they were putting the uranium in these like cylinders.
Right.
And it was corroding the cylinders. So they had to like take it out, flush the uranium out somewhere, dispose of the cylinders, and then bring in new stuff. So it was very costly.
Yeah.
But then they introduced Teflon. They coated it in Teflon.
And it was fine.
And it was perfect. It was the perfect thing.
If something works with a bomb, like not eroding.
Literally, it was used to make sure that the uranium didn't corrode through any material, and that
can't be good
and that
for
they
you.
didn't have to dump it.
Yeah.
Like it's smart for
the
atomic bombs. For atomic bombs, that's smart.
For weaponry,
wonderful.
Sure.
But after 6 months of using Teflon, they decided, like, showed no signs of corrosion, but they decided to disassemble them anyways, just to see what was going on, only to find that they were in pristine condition.
Oh wow!
It was like nothing had ever been inside of them.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Dang. Because it said.
So you have to think, if Teflon can completely protect itself against corrosion from uranium, and you're going to put that in your body, you're going to cook on top of that.
Yeah, that's not.
You're going to allow people to put that in their fridges and their rugs and their on their clothing, like they're like they put it in a lot.
Do they do that still? Is
No,
it like
I don't think so. I don't think they put it like, I think they like stepped away from so much, but it is still in like your cookware. So yeah, it was pristine condition.
My gosh.
This was a material that was, again, never ever meant to be used or tested to be cooked with or eaten off of. It was made to contain highly corrosive compounds from an atomic bomb.
That's why it's so durable.
Yeah. Yes. That's what it was made for. Well, I mean, technically it was like made for the fridge, but then they realized, oh, that's maybe we shouldn't. And then they were like, but you know what this would be good for?
A bomb.
Atomic bombs.
Right.
They need this over there.
Right.
Let's use that.
The Manhattan Project.
So literally DuPont like after the war, because I mean, you have to think they were pumping it out. They were building atomic bombs. They were testing stuff and everything, and like whatever. They were making a lot of money off of the war at this point, and then the war ends.
Yeah,
and so they saw a chance to make big money and market it towards the civilians, and they went ahead and introduced it into homes, like, despite the risk it posed to the public and with no warning of the risk it could pose.
Y'all are selfish.
Yeah.
What?
I mean,
that's crazy.
I know.
And it's still, I'm just shocked because they like, oh, this is, BPA free, and then it's like, oh, but they're still putting Teflon on pans.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know what BPA is really. I just know it's in plastic a lot. And
there's
don't put it in there because it's not good for you or whatever.
Yeah. And I think there was it started to come out, but it didn't come out as like majorly as it did, or I can't remember exactly. Like there was a lawsuit that ended up happening.
Well, there had to be.
With like ex-worker, like they included a bunch of people in the lawsuit. But I can't remember exactly what happened. And they had to like promise to take certain compounds out of it or certain like stuff out of it and then market it. But yeah, it was a big.
I'm looking up. We need to look up. See, they like put ceramic. Like that's so much better. Like for nonstick
ceramic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PFAS and PFOA free. Dishwasher and oven safe, guys. You can't ask for better.
But God only knows what's in that now. What was that used for?
Did they ever put it in dishwashers?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Because dishwashers just need to wash.
Yeah. But like, what about like tubing? I guess they just use plastic. That's probably fine. I just don't know if like the heating. They probably just use heat resistant stuff. Probably not Teflon. But okay, we're going to throw away that Teflon pan.
Get rid of it.
This is finally, and then he's
all of you get rid of your Teflon pans.
He's going to be like, just because Felina said it. I'm like, no, I've been telling you this forever, and this has confirmed my suspicions.
Also, if it's cracked too.
Exactly.
If your pan is cracking, get rid of it.
I was like, we really need to like get rid of this one. He's like, it's fine. I'm like, that's one thing is like, oh, like sometimes he's like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, Wes, I don't think you understand. Like, there are some common sense things that are like, I feel like this is bad for you, Wes. This is bad for you.
Because it could chip off in your food, and then you're eating.
You don't want to eat Teflon.
No,
as we have learned, which I already knew.
Yeah,
but like, I didn't know like all this stuff about it.
Yeah,
I didn't know that they were just like here.
The Teflon honestly probably could be its own episode, but like
that's okay.
That's so much research, and that's such a rabbit hole that I'm gonna have to go down again because I found out about it. I went down a rabbit hole, and then we started doing the podcast, and then I was like, I don't want to go down it again to get all that information. So I've moved on.
Yeah,
but
if there's more products you think we should do that are of concern, that are letting us be in danger,
let us know, because also I don't want to be using a product if it's. I mean, I know obviously there's there's any product you use can have certain things that happen with it, like whatever. Nothing's like perfectly safe, you know. But like if there's something that's like actually super dangerous, I don't want to be using it.
I don't want to either. Like,
luckily, whenever I found out about Teflon,
before,
like we were already using cast iron skillets. At that point,
I think that most of the pans we have like metal pans, and then we have like 2 nonstick that I don't think are Teflon. They're just like I think from. Yeah, as far as I could tell. But that one pan I've had forever because it was like my mom's. And so we really need to get rid of this one. And Wesley's being like, hey, it's fine. And I'm like, it's really not. What you need to do, here's what you got to do. Here's what you do. Let me tell you how I do things. Okay. Marshall doesn't listen to this podcast, so it's fine. Ladies, listen. You have your man. He's saying, it's fine. We're fine. It's okay. It's fine.
you just throw it away.
You just do it. Yeah.
Just do it. They're not going to notice.
Nike.
They will not know.
Yeah. He will know that because it's the only pan like that and he always uses it. And I'm like,
you throw it away and you get a new one.
Yeah.
You throw it away and you replace it.
Yeah.
You're not going to know.
He would.
If he does use it, then he'll know, but it's at that point it's gone.
Wes is particular. He's not like other men. He's particular about certain things. So he notices that. He's like, this isn't the right.
Marshall's particular too.
Yeah.
But
you guys, I feel like, have so many pans and things that he wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
He'd just like, where did that one go? But he wouldn't think of it. Like, Wes would know.
Oh, every time I try to reorganize everything and like declutter, I'm like, I'm only getting rid of my stuff. And then I'm like, I'm getting rid of this. We haven't used it in the entire time we have been in a relationship. So not just married, in a relationship, we have not used it the entire time. I'm throwing it away.
This pan is blue. It's the only blue pan we have. So it's like noticeable.
So it is more noticeable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like not just.
You just need to go ahead, throw it away.
I'm going home and I'm going, Wesley.
And then, no, don't even let him know you're doing it. Just go ahead, throw it away. And then whenever he looks at it, be like, I got rid of it.
You guys heard it here. Felina destroying my marriage.
I'm not destroying your marriage. At that point, it's
You're
like...
saving our lives.
At that point, there's nothing he can do about it.
Right.
It's gone.
It's gone. Well, he threw away my lunchbox the other day. So I would just like to say, okay, it wasn't like
the new one?
It was like the one the dentist gave me. And I was like, I was using it because it would fit my containers. And I had it and he was like, are you using this... which lunchbox are you using? Are you using this one? I thought he was talking about, I had another lunchbox that was gray. And I was like, no, I'm not using that one because it doesn't fit in my bag. And then I came in there and he had thrown away. And I was like, wait, hold on. Because I was going to tell him the gray one's probably fine. And then I came in there and he had thrown away my, the dentist one. And I was like, I was using that because it actually fit my, and he was like, that wasn't a lunchbox.
It's not a lunchbox.
No, but the lady was like, oh, it's good for like your lunch too. And I was like, yeah, it's not a lunchbox. But like, why would you just throw that away? I was actually, because it was like with my other lunchbox.
See, again, though, you just got to throw it away. You just got to throw it away. That's what you get. He had a pair of glasses. What? They, first of all, did not fit his face. He got them when he was like 13 or something.
Oh, gosh.
They don't fit his face.
Yeah.
He doesn't need glasses.
Then why do you have them?
I think they might have been like, he either had an astigmatism or something, but like, he like doesn't he doesn't need glasses. He's got 20/20 vision.
That's nice.
Well, he might not anymore.
He's getting old.
He's
like
saying
me.
He's saying things that were looking a little blurry, so we might need them now. But he had this pair of glasses, and there was nowhere to put them. There was no case to put them in. They were just popping around from drawer to drawer to drawer. I just threw them away.
Said,
do you know what? He has not asked where those are a singular time. He has not thought about them because he doesn't need them. Yeah. You don't need that blue pan with a chip in it.
I don't.
Throw it away.
Yeah.
And then get a different one.
Yeah.
That's not Teflon.
Yeah. I don't want Teflon in my life. You guys heard it here. Uranium
that's just what you got to do.
Yeah.
You throw it away. And then now if it's something that they actually do, like they are using.
Well, that's different.
Yeah.
We're using this, but we shouldn't be.
Exactly. That's like
it's old.
A hazard to your health.
I know. Thank you.
Anyways,
thank you.
That's what we have for today.
If you have any other products, reach us at
lattespodcast@gmail.com or on Facebook and Instagram at Lattes on My Mind. Or you can visit our website, lattespodcast.com.
Yeah.
And don't forget to submit your furry or non-furry friends. And
we'll post them on the website.
We'll post them on the website and on our social media, and they will be our animal of the week in that episode.
My mom was gonna submit her dogs and I haven't seen them yet, so Mom, if you're listening to this episode,
submit your dog.
Yeah, they're cute. They're cuties.
I want to see. Also, Leia needs to be submitted.
This is true. Yes, Leanna, submit your puppy.
Submit your dog.
She's adorable.
I'm obsessed with her, by the way.
Yeah,
just in case you were curious.
If you're listening to this, just know we are obsessed with your puppy.
Yes, and as always, you can reach us on Spotify, Apple, or not reach us, but listen to us on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Audible, and YouTube.
That's right. And you can comment.
Yeah, comment on any of those posts.
That's right. And remember, I mean, there are other options than Teflon for non-stick products.
And also, Elvis might be alive. So,
we will
take that as you will.